Hello and welcome to our classroom. This is our classroom for Emma, Nikki, and Nick. Uh, in our classroom we have many amenities, one of which is our group table work right over here. We have two different sets of group tables for students to work at if they are doing group work that it might include art projects or just whatever they want to do. We also have two whiteboards in this area for students to work on and create mind maps for their assignments or doodle on if they so desire. Over here, we have a bulletin board for their class work or class doodles. We have our working area with a smartboard or whiteboard depending on what we get over here, and our generalized work area. We have planned to have an L-shaped desk with tons of storage space for us to work and for us to sort our generalized papers, the homework that we assign, all that. We also have a couple shelves for generalized books. Where this is where we would put our binders or year binders and all of that for us. Over here, we have our plastered across our walls are our executive function posters. Each one will differ based off the classroom, and for today's exercise it is a shared classroom, so we will not go further into detail on what these posters are to represent. That will be in our personals thing. And that is
We've also made sure to include a way for students to access technology within the classroom. In this plan, we've included tablets, which could also be easily switched out for Chromebooks. This is a very important part of our classroom design, as many students in this class have a high level of digital literacy and technology skills, which we can use to our advantage in their learning. Additionally, there are many tools that can be used for differentiation with technology, such as text-to-speech and phonics instruction. Some other classroom components we've included to aid in student learning are bookshelves and posters. The plan for the bookshelves is to have them sectioned according to reading level. Not only does this allow for every type of student to find a book that they can enjoy regardless of reading level, but they also have the opportunity to challenge themselves if they'd like to. As for the posters around the room, we've planned to be very particular with what is placed onto our classroom walls so that everything that takes up space allows for learning or self-reflection from the students. These posters can be about topics we're learning in class, executive functioning skills, or research tips, including reliable websites they can use. In regards to classroom layout, we've also included individual standing tables towards the back of the room as an option for students who may need some alone time or just those who prefer to do their work by themselves. This would also be a good option for students experiencing anxiety, as they do not have to always sit next to other students. There is always the option of moving to an individual desk to have some space if they need it. Furthermore, we have a main large whiteboard at the front of the room for teaching, but would also like to follow the principle that we always include the class goal, a summary of the lesson plan, as well as the school timetable or schedule. Not only does this help students know what they're working towards, but it also provides structure in their learning, while aiding in class transitions by having each student aware of what is planned for the lesson.
Okay, so then moving back here, we have our calm down or communication corner. So this is for students to use during class time or at lunch if they so choose. The idea is that when students are feeling overwhelmed during class and feel like they need a break, they can come over here, they can sit, they can look out the windows, they can play with quiet fidget toys, or they can just breathe if they need to. This keeps the students in the classroom, but away from anything that might have been overstimulating for them. We have the bookshelves placed here to allow them some extra privacy while having teachers still able to keep an eye on them. This is also a space for communication, as we have quite a few students in our class who are very friendly and outgoing. Having this space allows them to engage with each other over lunch or between classes. We also have quite a few quiet students who are very shy or have difficulties opening up to others. This space allows these students to communicate with others on their terms and when they feel ready to. One expectation we could set up with this is that during independent work time or breaks, if a student is sitting in this area, another student should approach them to see if they want to talk. Then over here, we have what will be our sharing circle area. This is a space for students to use when there is conflict to be resolved either independently or with the teacher present, depending on the severity. It can also be used in class discussions or when guest speakers come into class. For this space to work, there has to be several expectations set up at the beginning of the semester. The biggest one is that nothing shared in the circle can leave without the permission of everyone involved. The circle is a judgment-free space where everyone is accepted no matter their reactions or thoughts, so long as they are not actively harming themselves or others. The final expectation with this space is that everyone must share at least once. For class discussions, questions could be shared ahead of time and posted nearby, say on this wall here, so that people can have time to think about their answers, provided they're still listening to their peers. And then following on from this, the walls in the classroom have been painted to reflect the medicine wheel colors. So we have our red wall here, yellow here, white here, and then the black up front. So while there are no students in our class who identify as Indigenous, we still feel it's important to bring in Indigenous teachings and values. Having the walls painted like this is a subtle way of bringing in Indigenous culture that will stand out to any Indigenous students in the school community or in future classes. It also exposes non-Indigenous students to the medicine wheel and can be a way for teachers to demonstrate an effort to include students of various cultures in the class. And then finally, we have grouped our students together mostly based on need. So, for example, we have some of our students who struggle with focus grouped together near the front of the class where we can keep an eye on them better. We also have it grouped based on, say, if they struggle with reading, we have them grouped with a stronger reader, that kind of thing. So we chose to arrange our students into groups rather than vertical rows to avoid having all of our higher needs students on one side of the class and always looking to the other side for answers. The colors of the chairs also reflect the colors of the walls and are an easy way of referring to each group. This makes it easier to keep groups separated when it comes to either transitioning between activities or getting cleaned up for the day, as it reduces congestion in certain areas of the class. So for example, you could say, okay, yellow and red tables, come up and hand in your assignments, black and white tables, go put your books away or your Chromebooks and then have them switch later. Having our students who struggle with focus in groups near the front means we can see all our students but keep a closer eye on those who might need extra help with that focus idea. This is something that my mentor teacher actually does in her classroom that I really like. By having her students who need that extra support sitting at the front, when she asks her students if they understand the material, these are the first kids she sees. So this allows her to see where she may need to re-explain concepts or spend extra time with students during independent work time. And like I said, we've tried to group students together based on needs. So this can include pairing students who are confident readers with those who may need extra help, or pairing students who are easily distracted with those who are hardworking and focused. I think that is it. Thank you.